Hello and welcome to part 2 of our Superlab multi-region web acceleration with high availability using AWS Global Accelerator. Once you will complete this kind of Superlab, you will get super knowledge. Why? Because now you have complete understanding about how the things are actually working. So, let's start part number 2. Now, before I am going to explain you part number 2, in the previous video, we already discussed about how to create VPC, set up subnet, set up route table, internet gateway, net gateway. Now, I just want to tell you, in the last video, I forget to set up one thing. I forget to add default route for net gateway into the private subnet. Let me explain you this practically. So, in last video, we have created net gateway. We created this net gateway to provide outbound internet connectivity to the EC2 instance into the private subnet. Now, after adding net gateway, you have to go to the route table. Then you have to go to the RT for private. Then you have to go to the routes and you have to add default route here. I should add this into the previous video, but I forget to add this. Now, I am going to add this here in this part 2. So let me add. Here I am going to choose net gateway and add it. Now, I have everything done for my India region. Here I have VPC, I have subnets, I have route table, I have internet gateway and net gateway. Now you have to replicate all this into the US as well. And as I gave you a little glimpse about it, I also completed this whole setup into the US. So if you go to the US, here I am in Virginia, I have my USA VPC, I have 4 subnets, I have route table, I have internet gateway, I have net gateway. In the route table, I have also public subnet, RT for public, and here I have route for internet gateway, and here I have to have route for net gateway. So I'm going to choose RT for private, and here I have route, but look at this. Here I also forgot to add this default route. Let me add this 0.0 net gateway. Here you have to choose your net gateway USA, and now everything is done from part 1. Now let's talk about part 2. What we are going to set up over here. Here we are going to set up security group first. We have to set up 2 security group. First, we have to set up security group for our application load balancer, and then we have to set up security group for our EC2 instance. When we will set up security group for our EC2 instance, we will only allow traffic from ALB. So here we have to use ALB security group as a source. Let me explain you how I am going to set up this. Again, I am telling you, whatever you are going to set up in India, you have to replicate same thing into the US. I'm going to set up everything in India. You guys need to set up in India and US. So let's go to the EC2. We are going to set up security group. So scroll down to the EC2 dashboard. You will get this security groups option. Now here, click on create security group, and I'm going to give name ALB SG. Here you have to provide description, secure ALB, and you have to select your VPC. And here we have VPC India. As you know that when we are going to set up new security group, we have outbound rule, all traffic allow. We don't need to worry about this. Here we have to add inbound rule. Now when we are going to set up inbound rule, we are setting up this for application load balancer. So I'm just going to allow only one kind of traffic, which is HTTP traffic, because we are going to set a web server, and our listener for ALB will be on the port number 80. And I'm going to allow traffic from anywhere. Okay. Keep this in mind when you are going to add rule. You are going to add this rule into the inbound rule. By mistake, many people are actually going to add outbound rule, which is not required. Okay. So yeah, whenever you are going to add rule, make sure you are adding this into the inbound rules, right? So now it is done. I have my security group created for application load balancer, and I will use this when I will create load balancer. Now, we have to create another security group as well. So let me click on create security group. I'm going to say web server SG. Secure web server. Now here, we have to add rules, and I'm going to add inbound rule as well. So let me click on add rule. 1 second, why I'm not getting outbound rule? Let's create this again. Create security group. Here it should add it, but no need to worry. Let's create this web server SG. Secure web server. And here I'm going to choose VPC India. Okay. Look at this. In outbound rule, I got all traffic. Now in the inbound rule, I am going to add HTTP traffic first. So HTTP. Now I want that only ALB can send HTTP traffic. So here in the source, I am going to select ALB security group. Whatever I am doing here, I am going to set up everything according to the AWS best practices. Now, maybe when we are going to set up web server, we have to access our EC2 instance using SSH. So I'm going to add SSH. And here I have to select 000. So I can access my EC2 instance and set up it as a web server. Although we are not going to do this, but let's add this right now. So we have web server SG. HTTP allowed from only ALB and SSH allowed from anywhere, and outbound traffic we have all traffic allowed, which is default. So let's click on create security group. Right now we have two security groups, ALB SG and web server SG. We are not going to touch default security group. You guys need to create same security group into the US. Okay, I'm not going to create this right now, but you have to create this, right? Now launch EC2 instance. Launch two EC2 instance in a private subnet of each VPC. Configure instance as a web server 1 and web server 2. And here I am going to provide you user data script. Why I am providing you this user data script? Because it will be convenient for you. You just need to copy and paste user data script, and it will configure your web server. It will configure the content of the website. Everything will be ready for you. So you just need to copy and paste. So here I'm going to set up India web server. So I have this user data script that I'm going to use. You guys can download this mind map and you can set up this as well. So let me explain you how. Let's go to the instance. Right now I don't have any instance. Going to launch instance. Here I'm giving name web server 1. We are going to use Amazon Linux T2 Micro. I'm going to choose this September 2024. This is a key that I have, and look at this. We are creating this EC2 instance into the private subnet 1A. So here I am going to click on edit, and I'm going to choose private subnet 1A. I don't want to assign public IP, so disable is okay. I'm going with the default option. Now we already created security group. So I'm going to select existing security group here, and I'm going to choose web server SG. Now we have to use user data script. So go to the advanced detail, and then here we have this user data. Go to the mind map. Here we have India web server 1. Okay, I am going to copy this and paste it over here. Now what will happen? This user data script will set up my web server. It will set up everything inside your EC2 instance. So you do not need to access EC2 instance manually and set up everything, right? And as you know that I am always believing in automation. So I'm going to use same here for this. Done. And let's click on launch instance. Now it is done. It is creating. We have to create another one. I just made mistake over here for the name. So let's say that web server 1. Why it is not taking B here? Yeah. Now launch instance. Here we have web server 2. Amazon Linux T2 Micro key. Now we have to launch this EC2 instance into the private subnet 1B, right? So here I am going to choose private subnet 1B. Public IP disable. We have security group. So I am going to choose this. We have web server SG. and going to the advanced detail, and I already provided you web server 2 user data script as well. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. Done. And now let's click on launch. So I just launched 2 EC2 instances. Now this EC2 instance having a web server and everything is done, but it will take some time. Another thing is, because these EC2 instances are in a private subnet, I cannot test this right now. I'm not able to access this website right now. Okay. So in order to access this website, I have to set up load balancer, and then we can verify that everything is working. So what I'm doing right now, it is actually in progress to create EC2 instance. So I'm going to load balancer, because here I provided you a user data script for India web server 1 and 2 and US web server 1 and 2 as well. So you guys can directly use them. Okay. Now here we are going to set up application load balancer. So in each region, create application load balancer, register EC2 instance in a private subnet, and ensure that ALB is working. So let's do this. First of all, I'm going to the target group. Here I'm going to click on create target group. I want to add instance. I'm going to say India TG. Let's give name like TG. Target group India. Yes, we want to use HTTP port. Here we have VPC India that I'm going to select. We don't have to set up anything. We are going with the default health checkup. Next, here we have 2 instances. So I'm going to select this, and don't forget to include as a pending below. And let's click on create target group. So I just created target group. Now we will check out afterwards, but here the status must be healthy. If we are not going to get healthy status, then we have to troubleshoot this. But right now it will take some time to provide a status detail. Right now we are not getting healthy or unhealthy, so we will wait. Meanwhile, we can set up our load balancer. So going to the load balancer, here I am going to click on create load balancer, application load balancer, giving name India. Let's give name like ALB India. Okay, internet facing IPv4. I'm going to choose my VPC, and here I have to choose my public subnet. So here it is my public subnet 1A, and I have to choose public subnet for multiple public subnet for my load balancers high availability. Keep this in mind that our EC2 instances are in a private subnet, right? Now security group, we already created this. So I'm going to choose ALBSG here. We want to forward traffic on a port number 80. So in the listener rule, we have HTTP 80, and we already created our target group India that I'm going to choose. Now let's click on create load balancer. Right now it is provisioning. So whatever you are going to set up here, you have to set up everything in US as well. Right now I have time because it is in a provisioning state, so it will take some time to be in active state. So what I'm doing, I'm going to the USA. Sorry, I know that you want to watch full video, but full video is now not available on YouTube. If you want to watch full video, I want you to go to our website. When you will go to our website, you will find out our course 100 Days YouTube Challenge. I want you to enroll for this course by paying only 499 rupees for lifetime if you are from India. If you are from outside of India, you just need to pay $7 US. Once you will enroll to this course, you are going to get all full videos over there on our portal. You are also going to get certificate after completing the course, and we have just uploaded 120 videos. We are going to upload another 120 videos as well. So there will be total 240 videos. I hope we are going to meet inside the class. Thank you very much.